Welcome to our spoiler review of Sarah Porter's When I Cast Your Shadow. This was a book we were super excited for because we had read Vasa in the Night last year, absolutely loved it, thought it was amazing. Then we get this book, which is like twins and possession and kind of horror creepiness, and we're like, yeah, this is it, this is gonna be great. It was definitely creepy.
Sarah Porter's really good with atmosphere. That's probably the very first thing that I want to latch onto. This book did not feel sunny at all. There were no sunny days. It felt like it was constantly just grim and about to rain and cold and just.
I almost saw it as there was everything was sunny, but there was a dark filter over it so that, the brights weren't as bright and the darks were really dark.
I was having flashbacks to the Replacements, I was getting that kind of feeling, this unwelcomeness, kind of feeling sticky and
Yeah.
We have a family. We have two twins. We have Ruby and Everett, and their older brother Dashiell died fairly recently from a drug overdose. He had supposedly been clean for about 6 months. For some reason he relapsed. They found him dead in his girlfriend's apartment. Ruby loves her brother. Loves her brother. Worships her brother.
He is the sun, and the whole world is black without him.
He's the galaxy, he's the universe, he's just
everything to her.
Yeah, and then to Everett, Dash is kind of just he's the older brother that, he kind of wants to be, but at the same time he's very much aware that his brother was kind of a monster. Not a monster,
He was
but
a selfish asshole.
Yeah, he had some very bad qualities, and he hurt people, and he hurt the family in a way. He was out for himself, and people got...
if you were in his way, or it was amusing to him. One of the things that she kind of really stresses is the fact that it doesn't matter how much you love him, and he knows that, you always have to prove it to him. You always have to go that extra mile, and you always have to push yourself in order to prove it and feel you're worthy of his love, and he makes you do it. It's not just something you feel compelled to do.
And so I really liked Everett's character because there was kind of that internal struggle going on, I love my brother, but at the same time having him around is unhealthy for me. It's unhealthy for our entire family. He's like a bomb that goes off and everyone gets hit.
Yeah, and the father realized that, and he had kicked him out, so they had a very strained relationship. And yeah, sure, the father loved him, but he's in order to protect Ruby and Everett, you cannot be around them. You're just gonna take everything down. So Everett really admires Dashiell because Dashiell was very confident and charismatic and intelligent, and people were drawn to him.
He got all the girls. He's a movie star, basically.
You know these people. You've been to high school with these people where you're yeah, sure, you're intelligent, charismatic, but you're also a dick. Ruby keeps having these nightmares, and the most recent one is one where she's swimming towards Dashiell, and he's come on, come on, come on, and then when she gets to him, he drowns her.
And it was really well done because this was the very first thing you read in the book. The book opens up on a dream, so you're I have no idea what's going on.
But she wakes up and she feels very disoriented, and she begins to lose time, and you quickly kind of realize through Everett that she's being possessed by Dashiell. He's that's not okay, what the fuck are you doing? Get out of her.
Because at first he thinks that his sister is having a mental break, that finally the grief and the stress and everything has gotten to her, and now she's hallucinating that she is, or disassociating and claiming that she is the brother, but it just feels too real. The way he talks is too much like him, and he knows things that Ruby wouldn't know, and it's just finally Everett kind of gets dragged into it, and Dashiell's look, I have things I need to do, and I don't necessarily need to use Ruby. I could, if you wanted to, I could
just possess you instead.
We can keep Ruby out of this. Completely. She doesn't have to know. In fact, she should probably not know that you know. That she knows. He's playing them off of each other. He's a chess master.
After a few attempts where Everett's like, no fucking way. He eventually does get possessed by Dashiell, but you slowly realize that Dashiell's not the only spirit kind of kicking around. There are other dead spirits who've been at this longer. So the way she set up this world is if you're stuck in the in-between, you can usually get your loved ones to come to you and you can possess them. But you know, if you like run them into the ground or they somehow manage to kick you out.
Or they just die too.
Yeah. Then eventually like it's going to become harder and harder to get people to come to you and to find somebody you can possess.
Because when you are approaching them, there is a sense of wrongness and danger that the person feels, and you're just hoping their love for you is going to overrun that. Like, your mother dies and you see your mother. It's still your mother, right? You're gonna ignore the fact that your gut is like, no, run, this is bad, don't do it.
But there are spirits who've been down there for so long that they kind of just run this operation where they get like new spirits to bring them their loved ones so that they can possess them. And the biggest player of that is Aloysius. Now, Aloysius has been doing this for so long, they've realized that there is a thing that can kill them, and that's if they come in contact with
part of themselves. In this case, he finds out that, because he was a gangster, and he was offed by another gangster, and the gangster kept his jawbone, because his jawbone had like gems or something in it, and he kept it as a trophy. And so he finds out that this jawbone is still in existence, and he needs to get rid of it, because if somebody manages to bring it with them to the in-between and manages to like touch him with it, he's done.
So there's a whole lot of back and forth. It's kind of hard to get into because it happens like slowly.
This is a very character-driven novel. There is, for the first 2/3, there isn't a lot of plot because you have the characters figuring out that they're possessed, and the majority of that is their different reactions to it, because when Ruby finally figures out she's possessed, she really gets into it, and she really likes the fact that they're like becoming one, like, because their personalities and memories are kind of bleeding into one another. And I like the way she set this up with chapter titles. It's very well put together. All the characters also have nicknames. So you have Ruby, Everett, and Dashiell. And as the book goes along, it kind of switches from their names to their nicknames that they have for each other that Dashiell gave them all. And then as Ruby and Dashiell become more of one person, their names get like pushed into one.
Yeah, so it'll be like Ruby Dot or Rue Dot or like, I don't know. Just,
and yeah, because Dashiell's like dash dot dot or dot dot dash.
Yeah, it's, dot dot dash.
It's cool because then you've taken the fact that there are dashes between the names, and it's just like, oh, this is on another level. It's making me so uncomfortable, but it's on and I'm thinking about like Ghost in Shell. Too much.
Yeah.
Too much brain, creepy incest, cause guess what?
Because Dashiell's possessing Ruby, but she's kind of like into it, and she's like, yes, we're finally one. And you know, there's this really like
creepy.
To be in like the hole of creepiness and you think there's a bottom and then you just keep falling deeper. There's this one scene where Dash is possessing Everett and Ruby's aware that he is, and they like kiss on the lips,
and it's the sweetest kiss. Like the phrasing is just like, you managed to make it 3 ways.
Yeah.
And like nothing really comes of it in a way. Like Everett's just like, maybe there was something
wrong with their relationship when they were alive, but who knows?
And then there's the father's opinion that like Dashiell's gonna end up corrupting Ruby, and then there's Dashiell being like, no one can actually love me this much. I must destroy something beautiful. Like tries to isolate himself away from Ruby at one point because he's like, eventually I'm just gonna drag her down because I can. Like I'm gonna get bored and I'm gonna do it because like
that's just who I am.
That's just who I am. The connections between all these characters are so good, but it's so very uncomfortable. Like Dashiell has a girlfriend, and the girlfriend is pregnant, but you find out that maybe the kid isn't actually Dash's because she slept with like Dash's drug dealer to pay off his debts, and Ruby doesn't like the girlfriend because the girlfriend is Dash's girlfriend and she's jealous, and like Everett's kind of into the girlfriend because she's hot, and it's just like,
and so Dashiell at one point sleeps with the girlfriend in Everett's body, and he like blocks out his like senses so Everett can't, but
gives Everett like a few small like tastes of it,
and then is like, bye. But like it's still like really creepy, like.
And then of course there's this girl at school who Everett's into when Dashiell possesses him and he's like got this kind of charisma that he's never had before and people are all of a sudden interested in her. It kind of hooks this other girl. Everett all of a sudden has this like huge breakdown. He's like, but I really like her, but I think she's only into me because like she's like sensing the Dashness of me. And then Dash is thinking, no, this girl's probably been into him for a while. It's just like
she's finally
decided to talk to him, and he's like, no, I can't let her talk to me because if she talks to me, Dash will get to her. And Dash is like, maybe I should hook these two up. And then, okay, so it's just this huge mess of people like body hopping. And then as this book progresses, I liked her less and less, but I liked her character. Like, yeah. I didn't like her as a person, but her character arc was fascinating because she's just so disturbingly protective of both of her brothers, and the moment, like, she's so obsessed with Dash, but the moment someone shows any interest in Everett, she just like, no, you don't like him, I like him, he's my brother, why do you care about him? You never cared about him, you never spoke to him. It's just, ugh.
It's weird.
It's really weird.
Oh yeah. But eventually Aloysius manages to possess Dashiell and he starts to try and fuck shit up. But they all end up...
Okay. Everett pushes Dash out by like hugging his corpse body in the in-between. Because when you let someone possess you, you leave part of yourself in the in-between. So to like block them out, you need to close the door, so you have to reclaim that part of yourself. Everett decides, okay. Aloysius comes to him and says, if you close the door, you're going to be able to deal with Dash. So he's like, okay, he closes the door only to be murdered by Aloysius.
Which is like, oh great.
And then
so much better.
And this is so much better. And because he's an older spirit, he's more powerful. And Everett's just like, I have to get as far away from my sister as possible because they're just going to kill her to like cut him off. They don't care. Frickin' Ruby's just like, no, it's okay. Like, it's okay. We'll be fine. Don't go away. And he's just like, she doesn't realize that Ash is gonna still try and kill me through her, and this guy's gonna, like, why are you not seeing this?
She's just like head in the clouds, like everything's gonna be fine.
Because Dash is with us, he'll protect us.
Dashiell will save us. Yeah, no. So it all works out in the end, and they manage to...
I am so happy that he leaves her.
Yeah. Right? You're like, please, dear God, you have one job, and that's get the fuck out. But super creepy incest relationship that manages to top any other one I've seen in teen fiction.
So I wanted to ask you, what did you think? At the end of the book, when they finally dealt with everyone and everyone's on the in-between world and Aloysius is dead and all the ghosts are like, oh no, there's a new bad bitch in town. And that's Dashiell, and Dashiell's like, it's okay, I'm gonna cross over soon, bye-bye team. I think he's still trapped.
Do you really?
That's what I think. I think he's still trapped and he takes over like the role that was Aloysius. Because he's talking about how he's watching his family progress through life and he can still see them, like how Everett like comes home and then later on Ruby puts his memory away. I think he's still there, but he's like...
He's just like, yeah, I'm at peace. Go away now.
But no, I'm actually just gonna be like the baddest bitch in town here.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really think about it. I was just like, oh, I guess he crossed over because he's done a couple good deeds and learned his lesson maybe. I don't know. But I could totally see that as well.
Yeah, it's just like...
It's kind of like read it how you want. But yeah, it's an interesting... I didn't think about that at all.
I liked it.
I did.
There's a lot that we somehow managed to leave out in this review because there are a couple side characters who are creepy in their own right, like Mabel. There's a guy trapped in a fence. He freaked me out. I was kind of having flashbacks that was
pretty fucking creepy.
Clive Barker's Hellraiser. Like, that was...
Yeah, and then the spirits like to possess cats because they're the only thing they can get to come to them. So at one point they do murder a cat.
Yeah, so...
Be warned.
Be warned about that. Like you said, it's not really horror, it's got some horror elements. It kind of has a similar vibe as Vasa, where it's just kind of like this rundown magic system that you don't really understand, but you gotta just like power through it.
It was more structured than Vasa.
It was more structured than Vasa though. Vasa was like an acid trip.
Yeah, it really was. But this, like, there are rules that she follows more clearly. But yeah, so read it, and we enjoyed it. It was pretty good. And tell us what you think, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.